Namah Parvati Pate. Har Har Mahadev. Hari Om. The entire concept of Girija Kalyana has two phases to it. The first one is the story, and actually the second one is the philosophy behind it. At this stage, we need to understand the philosophy behind the Girija Kalyana, which actually is very, very important, and that is conveyed through the art of Harikatha. Hari, the meaning of Hari is one who actually resolves. Yasya Pariharati. Who is the one who resolves? Well, the all-encompassing power takes three dimensions. One is creation, another is sustenance, and the third one is destruction. Now, they usually say it is destruction, but the problem is it is not destruction, it is metamorphosis. So how does this metamorphosis work? Before I continue this wonderful narration of Girija Kalyana, I offer my salutations first to my Harikatha Guru, my own grandfather, Harikatha Ratnakara Vidwan P.V. Gopinath Das, and the pioneer in Harikatha, my great grandfather Venkana Das, and the 20th, 21st century Renaissance philosopher of Vedic literature, my Guru, Dr. Dhananjay Gauridas. With this approach, we now look at this entire gamut of what is Girija Kalyana. Now, Girija Kalyana, there are two words. Girija means Giri. Himavat Giri, Himavat Parvata. Parvata means folded mountains. What is the folded mountain represent? Basically, it represents the cyclical enjoyment and all the trials and tribulations we get. How do you win that? When the trials and tribulations comes into contact with that power of the mind. And the power of the mind is Maharudra or Rudradeva. Now that is an omnipotent power. That is why he is called Shiva. Shiva means omnipotent. Right in the creation. We have to go back to the creation here. Bhagavan, you can look at this as your big bang, came out with a desire to create. That is all he needs. Bhagavan needs only desire to create, as it is said in the Bible. God said, let there be light, and there it was. It is the same concept propounded by the Upanishads and the Vedas. How does Bhagavan create? He basically has to multiply himself. Now, for that, he has to create a medium. You need a medium to create. So, what is that medium? He basically created the Prakriti. And inside that, he initiated himself inside and out. And the second layer of creation was basically what you see around. Brahma. Well, just Brahma himself doesn't basically satisfy anything. With Brahma, you need to have something that initiates all these thoughts. Then came Shiva or Maharudra. Even that is not enough. You can't create and metamorphosize or destroy. You have to sustain. So, in order to sustain, you had the concept of Narayana. Narayana means Ayana. Antarbahishcha tat sarvam. That actually is inside, outside, everywhere. What happened was, Brahma had his offspring because he had to procreate. He had Kashyapa Muni and Daksha Maharaja. Kashyapa was involved in increasing the population of this universe. This is, I'm telling right after the Big Bang. Now please be very clear. All these divine forms, they do not have this mortal body. Many people confuse that for the mortal body. They don't have a mortal body. They are in energy states, like the states we are all in. So, Daksha basically had two daughters. One was Dakshayani, and the other one, he gave it in marriage to Kashyapa. Now, Kashyapa had 27 girls. All these things have very symbolic reason. Why 27? Those 27 girls married the Chandra Shakti and then became the 27 stars that you actually see. All these things are in the energy form. Each star has an impact. The impact is needed because you need to get the universe from stage A to stage B to stage C to stage D. It goes on. As we know in modern science, universe keeps on expanding. So, with this, Daksha said, I have one more daughter, Sati. What do I do? Daksha was very impressed with Rudradeva because Rudradeva's meditation, his concentration was unparalleled. Daksha said, I want to marry my daughter to Rudradeva. Now, what happened? Rudradeva was very happy with that, and the marriage happened. Daksha even cleaned the foot of Rudradeva. Everything is hunky-dory. Now, the problem starts next. As we all have problems starting with us. What happened was, there was a yagna that Daksha wanted to conduct. Since he was the king, he wanted to conduct a yagna. Let's talk about what yagna is. Yagna, when deciphered, is called Yaja Deva Puja. It is a puja. Sangati Karana. What we are doing here is yagna. We are doing Jnana Yagna. And there, the only entity that can actually provide the vehicles for the divine forces to come is Agni. So, all the rishis started initiating different devatas. Agnaye swaha, Agnaye tanidam mamaha, Indraya swaha, Indrayitem mamaha. See, the thing is, each and every dimension is a dimension of Bhagavan only. Whether it is Agni or Indra or Mitra or Varuna. Unfortunately, what happened? Now, remember one thing, nothing happens for chance. The definition of random doesn't exist in two places, the Vedic science and the modern science. There is nothing random. It is just that when things happen, we don't understand. And because we have an ego, we don't want to accept that we don't understand. Because I do not want somebody to think that am, intellectually a little problematic. I don't understand everything. So we try to say, no, that doesn't make sense. It's at random. Nothing happens for random. Daksha basically came a little late. That's what happened. Now, in that yagna, all the devas were there. Brahma himself was sitting. Everybody stood up because Daksha is the conductor, he is the host. What happened? Maharudra was in deep meditation. And he was not even aware of anything that was actually happening outside because he was completely inside on the lap of Bhagavan. Everybody stood up. Daksha did. Shiva did not. Daksha got winning in that. What? When we are the sponsors of this wonderful thing, we have paid the money, we have paid everything. Nobody even recognizes me when I come. I get mad because my ego hurts. So his ego hurt. He looks at Maharudra. Maharudra is in deep meditation and he really gets mad. He starts insulting Rudradeva. The way he insults Rudradeva is, you can't even hear it when you actually look at the Skanda Purana. It is out of this world. He basically says, this particular thing that actually wears clothes made of animal skin and eats out of the skull of living things doesn't even have the efficacy to get up when I come. Rudradeva is at a much higher level compared to mere Daksha. But what happens? The ego hurts. It really hurts. Rudradeva doesn't say anything. Rudradeva basically is in deep meditation and he says, that's okay. Nothing is disturbing him. None of them actually want to disturb him either. They basically say, no, that's okay. Don't worry about it. After all this, after all the insults, Rudradeva finishes his cycle of meditation and opens his eyes. And everybody is laughing at him because listening to Daksha's ridicule. People love to laugh at other people, don't you? It's the same thing. It's the same continuation. Whether it is Daksha, Purusha, Bhaga, doesn't matter. They are all living things like that, but just at a higher elevation, that's all. They also suffer from the impacts of Rajas and Tamas, that selfless, selfish, and pure selfish attitudes. And really, this creates a very difficult situation for everybody there. But the problem is, it doesn't touch Rudradeva. Rudradeva is, that's okay. It doesn't matter. When people ridicule me, it is their problem, not mine. What was the attitude? Ninda karirabeku. You need people who actually criticize. How? Handi dare keri kyange shuddhiyo ninda karirabeku. The pigs are there near the dirt. It cleans up. So should the criticisms be for us. Andandu madida papada mamala tindu hoguvarayya nindakaru. Whatever bad things have happened, these people who criticize us, they take it away because we actually get our inside awakening and cleanliness. That is why That attitude was there of Rudradeva, Indakariravekku. And in the next two ones, Saint Purandaradasa makes a beautiful reflection of Rudradeva. Dushta janaru ee srushtioliddare. If these bad people, if they are in this environment, Shishta janarigella kirtigalu. People who really are on the path of dharma, they do not get the accolades. Because these wicked people are destroying them. Ishta pradarshi Krishna ninnolu. Bhagavan, at that time, I see Krishna inside me. Pari tamasige guri yadarallade. These people go to the worst of the places. Paramadayanidhi Purandara Vithala. Oh Krishna, make sure people who criticize me are always here. That was Rudradeva's outlook. That means to say that's how our outlook should be. And what did Rudradeva do? He showed it to us. And then he went into deep meditation. Nothing bothered him. People were talking about it. When this happened, what happened? All the followers of Rudradeva were not very happy. You had all the ganas, Pramata ganas. You had all the Rudradevas, different Angakaras. They basically said, we are going to destroy. But Rudradeva said, no. It's okay. Because Nindakarirabeku. There needs to be criticism. And Rudradeva, he actually lives with Sati. Everything is fine. Then the second yagna starts. Let me give you a little example or little description of what these yagnas are. These yagnas can last for 1 day, for a month, or for the whole year. It doesn't matter. Each yagna has a purpose, and that purpose is for the greater good of the universe. That's it, and nothing else. What was happening with Daksha? He was trying to get personal gains about it, and that is the reason these problems started happening. Of course, there was a divine intent behind it also. So Daksha starts the second round. In that, he invites everybody except the residents of Kailas. Doesn't matter. Shiva is not bothered at all. Because he is Manoniyamaka, nothing basically bothers him. But who gets bothered? Sati, Dakshayini, the daughter of Daksha. Oh, it's happening in my father's house and I am unable to go. What should I do? It's something that's really very difficult to swallow, especially when it is your own father who is ridiculing everybody, especially your own husband. That is something she cannot withstand at all. So slowly she basically comes and asks Rudradeva, I want to go to my father's house. Yagnavide tandeya maneyalli ಪ್ರೀತಿಸು ಬರಬಳಿಗೆ ಹೋಗಬೇಕು. There is yagna in my father's house. I want to go there. Why? ಮನಸ್ಸು ಸೆಳೆಯುತ್ತಿದೆ. My mind is being attracted towards it. ಮನಸ್ಸು ಸೆಳೆಯುತ್ತಿದೆ. ಯಜ್ಞವಿದೆ ತಂದೆಯ ಮನೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಪ್ರೀತಿಸುವರ ಬಳಿಗೆ ಹೋಗಬೇಕು. Shiva just sits down, opens his eyes and is laughing. Why? Because he is the Manoniyamaka. He knows what's going to happen. In fact, he tells Dakshayani. What does he say? Hitavalla allindinage. Please don't go. Hogugudu sukakaravalla. No, don't go there. Hogugudu hitakaravalla. It is not comforting for you. Why? ಹೆಮ್ಮೆಯಿಂದ ಜ್ಞಾನಿಗಳು ಹಿಂದೆ ನಿಂತು ದ್ರೋಹಿಸುತ್ತಾರೆ. The so-called enlightened people are going to stand in the back and start laughing at you because they ridicule me and they laugh at you. ಸಮಾಧಾನ ಹಂಚುವವನೇ ನಿತ್ಯ ಜ್ಞಾನಿ ಎನಿಸುತ್ತಾನೆ. The one who is supposed to comfort you, he is going to be there ridiculing you, but they basically act as if they are trying to comfort you. All these things happen to us every day. When a calamity comes, the good, bad and ugly, everybody comes and everybody wants to be your friend. Because, not because they want to comfort you, because they want to show off that they are compassionate, that they are of a superior fabric. If the same thing is going to happen there, Shiva says, because Shiva is the Manoniyamaka, your mind tells you not to do, but your ego says, no, I want to do it. You have already had 3 jamuns, don't eat the 4th one. No, that's okay, I'll eat the 4th one, take an extra medicine the next day. Then you go to the doctor yells and screams. Again, what happened with Daksha is exactly what is happening here. What happened with Daksha is exactly what's happening here. Then Shiva says, Ninna tande nanannu avamanisutare. He is going to ridicule me. Dayavittu summaniru nanna maatu kelu priye. Nanna maatu kelu. But you know, as I said, as with the example of the Jamun and Rasgulla, exactly same thing happens with Daksha. The reason it happens is there is a divine intent. Do not forget that. It is not random. But Dakshayani is really, very brave. She has complete confidence in her wisdom. She says, Tayi manage aakvana beda. I don't need invitation to my father and mother's house. Bhaktige nishedavillladante. For devotion, there is no restriction. I do not need an invitation. Guruvina manege nillisabaradu. That is my guru. My father and mother do not stop me. Then she says, Devara darshanake tadeyabaradu. Do not stop me to have the great opportunity to see my gods, because Pitahamasya Jagatu Mata Data Pitamaha. Krishna says, same thing, she's got that inside. I want to see my father and mother. They are my gods. Tandaya manege tadaya bedi. Do not prevent me from going. Yi hakku nanagide. I have that right. Again Shiva says, Veda priye nannanu avamanisutane. He is going to ridicule me and you will be hurt. He can ridicule me, I don't mind, but you are going to be hurt. Please be extremely careful, but please don't go. In spite of which she goes, because that is the way the entire architecture piece. Now, the importance of the yagna is, in the Vedic system, when yagna was conducted, there were 16 yagnikas, 4 for each Veda. Rigveda, Yajurveda, Samaveda, Atharvaveda. And there was one who actually used to be the master of the ceremonies called Brahma. It was a very unique way, and in those days it was either Rajasuya Yaga, or it would be Soma Yagna, Vajapayi Yagna, which none of which we do it today. But today, the grateful thing is, these great Krutviks actually have taken the work of all the 16 people and they have done it. That is why we are very grateful to them. Whereas then it was something very different. When they say Agni Swaha Agni Tanama, you saw Agni coming in and taking the offering. So she goes. She does not heed to Shiva's request, even though it is with all love. Shiva knows what's going to happen and goes into deep meditation. As soon as she goes, nobody cares for her. Her father doesn't even identify her presence. Her mother doesn't even identify her presence. Nobody wants anything to do with her. One good thing is, Shiva will have sent her with all the protection of the Ganas and all his army, because he knows what's going to happen. Exactly as predicted, Daksha starts doing all the ahutis, calls Agni, Varuna, Mitra, Kubera, everybody. And when it comes to Ishanya, Ishwara, offering it to the Ishanya direction, he tells the Ritviks, Chandrasekhar, just skip over it, do not offer it to Shiva. That's exactly what Daksha says. Dakshayani so sorry, sad, and Prathamagana says, you know what, we are going to attack Daksha and destroy him. She says no, she just looks at him. You are not going to answer violence with violence. There is a better way to make him realize what is Dakshayani's connection with Daksha. It is only one thing, this mortal body, right? Because Dakshayani, she is basically the embodiment of Parvati. She knows. She says, my father gave me this mortal body. And then basically tells the entire community, Yagnika community, stands on an elevated mount and says, Neenu kotta deha vidako, take this body back. Ni tiraskarisida panchabhuta vidako. The panchabhutas that you gave to me, that you instilled in me, I don't want it. Take it back. Ni tiraskarisida nanna devarannu seruve. You basically rejected my esteemed Lord, Shiva. I want to be one with him forever. Ni tiraskarisida nanna prana dharavannu seruve. I am going to become one with the prana shakti inside. Ni kotta deha vidako. Take my body and gets into the yogic meditation. I'll explain to you. Very beautifully explained both in Bhagavata and Skanda Purana. Om Agnaye Swaha Agnaye Idam Namama. The 5 pranic forces, prana, apana, vyana, udana, samana, one by one, because of her yogic power, starts getting into the juxtaposition, becoming one, and the entire Mahaprana inside lights up the Agni, and from inside she self-immolates herself. Everybody is looking at it. You know what actually created that Agni? It is basically the reason she was sorry that her own father insulted her. Even that sorrow she did not want. And why did that sorrow come? Because of this five-factor body you have given me. Here you go. Gone. Everybody there. Purusha, her own father actually started trembling. Nobody knew the power of Dakshayani. The Prathamaganas really got mad. Now that she is gone, nobody is there for them not to basically fight. There's a big fight between the army of Rudradeva and Daksha. Now, the story is beautiful. But what is the philosophy behind it? Your mind basically has all these great characteristics which propagates dharma. You basically have the ichcha, you want to do it. You have the vidana, the methodology. You have the karma, the unleashing, everything in order to protect the dharma. When you unleash it, then no matter how powerful the opposite side is or the warmongers are, they will not stand a chance. What happened? Everybody who had actually ridiculed Shiva and started laughing, started losing their anatomical part with which they made fun of Shiva. People who laughed lost all their teeth. People who winked lost their eyes. People who were showing off their whiskers lost their whiskers. Everything gone. Because when you ridicule somebody, what happens? You are ridiculing the very divinity inside. Because even Swapachena Panditena, even inside a dog and inside a scholar, Mama Tishtati, I am there, says Krishna. Pitahamasya Jagatu Mata Data. They lose everything. And in the end, what happens is, Daksha is trembling, but nothing happens. Everything calms down. All the Prathamaganas go back and tell Shiva. Shiva comes to know about it. He is sad Dakshayani is gone. But he is really upset because the yagna was not completed. Why? Is it because in the yagna he didn't get his offering? No. That is because his disciples, people who look up to him, his own children, Agni, Varuna, none of them got any offering. And his own divine family are starving and he gets mad. So he says, I need to teach this Daksha lesson. And takes one hairlock and creates the greatest force of Shiva called Virabhadra. Now, Virabhadra, in the movies you can say everybody comes down with his dip. No. Understand the philosophy as given in this Kanda Purana. The word itself says it is Vira. Vira means that which always wins. What is that which always wins? Dharma. Bhadra, the one that protects the dharma. It is basically the manifestation of Maharudra, Shiva himself. Virabhadra and everybody go and completely finish off Daksha's army. Because what does Daksha means? Daksha means you basically make up your mind, dakshate, in order to do something. Making up your mind is not important, but the intent behind it. I'm going to make up my mind to destroy this whole world. You are going to enjoy the ramifications of it because karma is not going to leave you. But I'm going to make up my mind in order to protect the greater good dharma, then you are going to be protected. So was Arjuna. So the action is meaningless. The intent behind the action gives it complete meaning. When Krishna told Arjuna, kill Karna, Arjuna said, Krishna, what are you talking about? He's got no arms in his hand. He's trying to take that wheel out. I am not going to shoot at somebody who has no arms. Krishna says, Arjuna, karma is blind. When your 14-year-old son Abhimanyu told all the Kauravas that let me just have a little puddle of water in this dirty water and then I'll come back to fight with you, while he was going through the Padma Vyuha, what did Karna do? He shot him from the back as he was trying to drink the water and denied the water also. Take him out. That is what karma is. But what happened is, Virabhadra comes, destroys everything, but Daksha he cannot destroy. No matter what. So Virabhadra, he meditates on Rudradeva and says, oh, what's happening? Rudradeva gives him the blessing and says, look, the problem with Daksha is not his mortal body, but his evil thought. Where is the evil thought? It is in his head. Take that evil thought away and his head will roll. Virabhadra takes the evil thought out and he beheads Daksha. Virabhadra is so mad, he offers Daksha to the yagna as Purna. It is an arameda. It is the worst that can happen. That's exactly is going to happen when dharma is not looked at properly, when adharma ensues. Who are actually the losers? The devatas. They don't get the food. Their food is not what we eat. It is what we give to the havis. What the pandits basically gave in the morning. Agne Swaha, Agne Tannamama. That havis goes in the form of energy and goes to the devatas. Everything is gone and the devatas, they go to Chaturmukha Brahma and says, Father, we don't know what to do. Rudradeva is in deep meditation, the entire thing has gone to hell in a handbasket. So Chaturmukha says, even I cannot do anything because the one who architects the entire thing is my own father, Bhagavan. I have to go to Narayana. And then Narayana says, he's Rudra's father, Shankarasya Pitamaha, Shankarasya Prapitamaha, father and then grandfather. Brahmadeva goes to Shankara and basically says, Shankara, my son, you are the ruler of the mind. There is nothing called as you getting anger because anger is in your hand. But there is a divine purpose that needs to happen now. Okay? So for that, please call off everything. Sure? When Chaturmukha Brahma comes and then he basically tells, Shiva says, absolutely. No ways. Goes into deep meditation. In that time, there is a problem. This problem is the main intent behind the Girija Kalyana. There is a demon. There are always demons. We have demons even now. Tarakasura. And you know what Tarakasura has done? He has basically meditated in such an intense way. One thing let me tell you. When Devas meditate and the demons meditate, these demons do a better job, unfortunately. But what's the problem? The intent is the problem. Horrible intent, destruction of this world, destruction of the greater good. So, Tarakasura has got this boon from Brahmadeva. And Tarakasura is very intelligent. Sati is gone. So he says, I want to be immortal. Brahmadeva says, I can't give it to you. I cannot give immortality to anybody because even I am not immortal. At the end of the Brahmakalpa, even I am gone. Then let me ask you this. I should only be destroyed by the son of Shiva. Now, he is very confident because Sati is gone, right? She has set herself on fire, so there is no son for Shiva, no problem, everything is good. But Tarakasura is creating havoc. You know, the evil intent, that havoc is created even today. What do I do? At that time, everybody goes to Vishnu and they basically pray to Vishnu. Harihi Om Devam Narayanam Natva Sarvadosha Vivarjitam Paripurnam Gurum Syat Narayanam Suragurum Jagadekanatham Bhakta Priyam Sakalaloka Namaskritancha Traigunya Vajjitamajam Vibhumadhyamisham Vande Bhavagnam Amarasura Siddhavanyam. You are the all-powerful. Tvameva Mata. What do we have to do to stop this Tarakasura? When you say they pray, the devatas have the power of invoking divinity inside through meditation. What is meditation? Meditation, in one of its very beautiful definitions, is mediating with yourself. That is, you becoming mindful of who you are. Then you will know who he is. How do we invoke it? Beautifully explained in the Upanishads, especially in the Bhagavad Gita. The invocation starts from the very point where you were born, the navel. Then comes to the heart. Then comes to the throat. Then comes to the head. And Adyatishtat Dashangulam. There sits the entire aura of divinity of which you are a part. I am your son. This type of invocation for the devatas, since they are at a higher echelon than all of us, invokes the wisdom of Vishnu. So Vishnu says, for Rudradeva to even consider procreation, we will have to induce, we will have to excite his humanistic character. How can Rudradeva have humanistic character? Well, the humanistic character is the action of procreation. What is that action of procreation? It is desire, also called in Sanskrit as kama. But for kama, you need the help of this five-factor body. So, he sends his son Kama. Actually, in the movies you say Kama coming and then hitting. It is actually the philosophy, the spirituality is Bhagavan invokes that particular desire with the divine intent. Kama says, right, I will go and do my job. At that time, Rudradeva is meditating in the Himavat Parvata. And the energy behind it, the king of Himavat Parvata, Himavan, has a daughter. He is a Parvata Raja. So his daughter is Parvati. The rishis come and request Parvata Raja, please, we need to make sure your daughter marries Virabhadra. Parvata Raja says, are you out of your mind? Do you know that deep meditation Maharudra is? We are going to get burnt if we actually go near him. Then they tell him, no, don't go to him with that intent. Since dhyana and meditation is controlled by the mind, and the Manonyamaka is Rudradeva, take her as his student with an intent to learn meditation. So, Himavat Raja comes with folded hands. Here is little Parvati. Rudradeva sees her and then says, next time when you come, don't come with her. Himavan says, Prabhu, she is there to learn meditation. Rudradeva says, the problem is not me teaching her meditation. The problem is me getting attracted to her. Because she is a Manonyam. And he just keeps quiet. At the same time, as he finishes talking to Himavan, looks the other side, Kama has unleashed those arrows. Now what happens is really Rudradeva is not mad at him. Here in the movies they say, the third eye opens and the fire comes out. He is above anger. He is Manonyamaka. Because the tapas shakti, the meditation aura and the strength is so much, Kama gets burnt into ashes. Because of that power surrounding the tapas shakti. And everybody is distraught. Parvati says, no. I am going to make up my mind, and my determination is, if I marry, it is going to be Rudradeva. That is because he is my Prabhu. End of story. The first instance where a female marries Bhagavan out of pure devotion. So she starts meditating, and the meditation she starts is in great detail in the Bhagavatam. First, she stops eating solid food, and then she is just consuming leaves from a tree. Then she stops eating even leaves. Then she stops drinking water, just breathing air. Just the Pancha Prana is going in. Sure, who is with the Pancha Prana? Rudradeva. But you need to have a final test here. Right? Nothing happens without the Agni Pariksha. Shiva comes as a small boy and tells Parvati, I am going to serve you, mom, if you can let me, because you're doing this deadly penance. Let me at least serve you and get some punya. He says, oh. But this lad is not the easy one, very mischievous. He starts taunting Parvati with comments, making fun of Shiva. She basically says, no, don't do this. Ganachobhi Kailasapate. And our man replies, Vanamali Vaikuntapate. Testing her until she gets mad at Shiva. She doesn't know it is Shiva, it is the lad. He goes on saying, Chandana Chachita Kaustubhadhari. Look at Narayana. He's got the Kaustubha and everything the greatest. She basically says, no. For me, my Lord is great. Bhasma Vibhushita Gaja Charmadari. No, my Lord has got the ashes. He is divine. He's got the covering of the animal skin. That is when he starts making fun. He wears an animal skin. He basically lives in a crematorium. See, all these things are symbolic. The metamorphosis and the power to change is in Rudradeva. Rodayati. He is the one, that is the power which actually takes out the bad and retains the good. That is why it's called Rudra. In order to do that, you have to be Shiva. Shiva in Sanskrita means omnipotent. You don't have to even go into any divinity. The Sanskrit names itself says there. Vedavyasara has made it very clear. Unfortunately, he used a foreign language called Sanskrit. As she gets mad and is about to throw him away, she turns around. When she turns around, guess who is there? Maharudra is right standing there. Because she never gave up on Maharudra. For her, if a girl meets the boy of her heart, she starts singing, right? She starts singing, very lovely songs. She may start saying, since you all know Hindi, I can say, Tere mere sapne. That's not Parvati. What did Parvati do? Jaya Deva Jagannatha, Jaya Shankara Shashwata, Jaya Sarva Suradhyaksha, Jaya Sarva Surajita, Jaya Sarva Gunatita, Jaya Vishwambharavyaya, Jaya Vishwaikyavangesa, Jaya Nagendra Bhushana, Jaya Gauri Pate Shambho, Jaya Chandrardha Shekara, Prasidatu te Mahadeva, Samsaratya Sahidyataha, Sarva Papam Kshayam Krutva, Rakshamam Parameshwara. Complete surrender. Then Rudradeva says, no worries, I will marry you. Parvati says, I don't think so. You need to come through the proper channels. There is a protocol. Go and ask my father. When he goes near Himavan, Himavan is trembling because Rudradeva coming. No. But here Rudradeva says, O King Rajan, I have come to ask your daughter. She's very happy. But immediately he summons all the rishis because this is Rudradeva. Our man is still, very fearful. And then they say, look, in order to have this Girija Kalyana, we need to make sure proper authorities come. Because you will give Dakshayani, you will give Parvati away. But who is going to basically initiate on the side of Rudradeva? It has to be his father, Chaturmukha Brahma. But Chaturmukha Brahma will not come by himself. We need to get Lakshmi Narayana. In this beautiful description of the Girija Kalyana, they basically go through in such wonderful detail that the mantra akshata, let's talk about this. See, everybody, akshata means they say, I'm going to wear it. No. Akshata means it is basically the rice. Mantra akshata is the rice into which the divine power is embedded. That's why when the Swamijis give you, they basically do the Gayatri mantra and then give it to you. So that it stays, it radiates. That mantrakshata was given by Lakshmi Narayana to Brahmadeva. Brahmadeva brings Rudradeva, and Girija and Rudradeva are married. Beautiful. But what is the philosophical significance? This is the unison of the Purusha and Prakriti. Every creation, when couples create, it is basically a yagna. Don't ever forget that. It is the holiest yagna is procreation. Again, I am your dad, I am your mom. You are not the dad, you are not the mom, because there is not a rat's rump you can do by yourself. Naham karta harikatha. Until he basically does, nothing happens. When Vigneshwara is born, when Skanda is born, it is because Bhagavan gets into the womb of Parvati. That is why, what is the Sanskrit name for womb? Garbha. And then where do you go in the temple in order to offer prayers? Garbha. So, a pregnant woman's body is a temple. That is the reason the Purana says, do not let a pregnant woman do prostrations, namaskara to you. You prostrate to her, no matter how old she is. Because Bhagavan is growing inside. Because Bhagavan is Sarvagna. Yukti yuktam vacho grachyam baladapi shukadapi. Doesn't matter. When the yukti is inside, what is the another name for Bhagavan? It is yukti. Because he is the only one who has got the mechanism in order to create, in order to sustain, in order to metamorphosize. Destruction is something that doesn't exist in the Vedic science. So this Girija Kalyana is happening every day. You just need to have the eye to see it. Which eye? The third eye. Who gives it to you? Again, Rudradeva. When Rudradeva opens his eye, we open our eyes. Without him opening, we cannot open anything. Because everything is controlled. Why? Antarbahishcha tat sarvam vyapya narayana sthitaha. He is inside, he is outside. And then the first law of Newton that was told to us by the Upanishads. Trunamapi na chalati tena vina. Nothing moves by itself. What does the Newton's first law say? A body at rest remains at rest. A body in motion continues its motion until and unless it is acted upon by an external force. That external force is the Shiva Shakti, Rudra Shakti. Until that is initiated, everything is static. So, the Girija Kalyana has to be happening at every instance in order to move the universe. And today, we are blessed to have this Girija Kalyana. By whom? By Shankara himself. And Shankara does this with money. Who is the money on Shankara? It is Girija. So there is your Girija Kalyana. This philosophical, spiritual, Vedic eye needs to be opened inside. Otherwise, it is just a Chandamama story. So, our prayer is, let it not be a Chandamama story. Please make sure that we see divinity inside us, outside us, and everywhere else. The Rudra Shakti should always be there to remove the obstacles. And the Shiva Shakti, the all-encompassing power, omnipotence, should be inside us to enable us to do why? Dharma charati, in order to do good for the entire universe. Raja Rajita Gopala Vittala Maharaja Boga Kalpa Raja Suteja Mangalam Mangalam Kayena Vacha Manasindriyeva Buddhyatmana Va Anusruta Swabhava Karomi Yadyat Sakalam Parasmai Narayanayeti Samarpayami Shambho Shankara Hara Hara Mahadeva Om Namas Parvati Pate Hara Hara Mahadeva Dhanyosmi Krishnastam.
Thank you very much, Mr. Purna Prasad. An excellent job. And so I'm happy that the younger generation is not here to listen to all of this. So we have to motivate younger generation, and we should have more and more of Mr. Prasad, this Bhakti Samarpane, right? We should have more and more. I'm sure, I'm also the disciple of his own guru, Panandi Govindacharya.